From Wall Street to Main Street, this is LALATE.
The incredible great news you expected for forced stimulus check only from this channel is upon us. The House Ways and Means Committee writes the President of the United States in another letter and says they're putting in multiple stimulus checks. And they're reminding the president that there are not one, but two other proposals from 80-plus House and Senate members to put multiple stimulus checks in there, and they're putting them in there. Incredible great news in a week in which Jalopal wrote Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi to call the vote. The President of the United States on forced stimulus made a major move just minutes ago, late this afternoon. I'll be going over the incredible details. But here's the letter that says multiple stimulus checks, away we go. In this recording, we'll go over the breaking news happening late Friday and a week in which we have seen not one, but several great news about forced stimulus checks. Then we'll cut to fifth stimulus and why fifth stimulus still remains really incredible. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits, I'll go over all the incredible details. And then we'll touch on the big money available for you, and some coming automatically to your mailbox as early as tomorrow. It's a Greek night across the land, from my home to your home, from Wall Street to Main Street, across the land and across the sea. We're going to get all the details starting right now on Evenings LALATE. Everybody, how are you? How is your evening? It is beautiful here in Los Angeles and Santa Monica. Hope your weather is good where you are. Where are you tuning in from? Drop in the comments. I'd love to hear where you're from. Forced stimulus is ending the week on a bang, as it started with an incredible push midweek. You've been hearing the details on this channel, and tonight you see the big new letter from members of the House Ways and Means Committee who actually do the major part of the forced stimulus check bill. They are writing the president telling them they're putting multiple stimulus checks in there. Incredible, great news. In this recording, we'll go over the forced stimulus check, how much you're going to get it, all the breaking news happening all across the board, and the president's counteroffer that came late this afternoon. You heard it first on Afternoons LA right before this recording. And what a day it is. Then we'll go to fifth stimulus, the big money that comes in the fall, and it raises your benefits up if you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, and Railroad benefits. And then finally, the big other money available dropping in your bank account, returned from federal and state across the board. This is LA, the only 24-hour-a-day, 7 days a week financial news channel, live in the morning, taped in the afternoon, although today was a little bit change it up for you. And coming up after this show tonight is late night crypto, which actually evenings crypto, which is our new hit show, part of a double header, and then we go into our 9-hour program tonight on crypto, so join both of those shows. So subscribe. Also like this video and consider becoming a member. Let's get right to the breaking details right tonight. First, let's go over the forced stimulus check amount, and then we'll go over the breaking news and more about it, because there's just so much going on. The forced stimulus, let's first understand the two proposals. There's a proposal from the House written by Jalopal, who I've been detailing a lot this week, and then the proposal from the Senate. But now we're getting even more pushes across the board. Let's compare the House versus Senate proposal first, and how does it work? The House proposal, written by Jalopal, provides a stimulus check for the remainder of the pandemic plus 1 year. The Senate proposal provides stimulus checks from July to December. When comparing the amounts on a monthly basis, the House proposal is $2,000 the first month, $1,000 thereafter. The Senate amount on a monthly basis is unknown, but word on the street is it's this. Wow. $2,000 a month over 6 months, $12,000. Or $1,400 a month over 6 months, $8,400. Absolutely incredible. Now, if you're in the live chat at watching this show shortly after 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, get ready to vote House or Senate among us to determine which one is better. But don't vote yet, because here is the details. The pandemic may be ending, or will certainly be ended, by July when the vote happens, if not earlier for the vote. And now the question is, how many checks would you get from the House proposal if it's pandemic plus 1 year? Likely just 1 year. That would be 12 months of stimulus checks, $13,000. compared to the Senate proposal, which is about the same in 6 months. So now vote, House versus Senate. Which one do you like? Most viewers have now been saying Senate, but some still prefer the House for a lot of different reasons. Incredible, great news. So who gets a fourth stimulus check? You do. If you got the third stimulus check, you get the fourth stimulus check. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, Railroad benefits, you get it. If you make less than $75,000, a single individual, you get it. Married couple, $150,000 or less, you get it. Double it. And if you're a household of 4 or less, you get it. One viewer asked me, what if there's 6 people in the house? All 6 of you do not get stimulus checks. Up to 4. And there you go. Is it income? No. Is it taxable? No. When would it start? Remember, they're legislators. They make the representations, not me. I'm just a reporter. But what do they represent? A vote no later than July 4th. And remember, I keep on saying no later. Someone dropped in the comments that I said the vote would be on July 4th. No one's voting on July 4th. Come on now. The vote by July 4th. That would mean the stimulus check would go out in the month of July, for the month of July. In the month of August, for the month of August. How are they doing this? A reconciliation. A 2-bill, 2-step, 2-month process already underway, nearly finished. And that's your fourth stimulus check update of 2021. I have literally, I think, 5 major news updates about fourth stimulus tonight. And they're coming up later in this recording. But first, let me give you a preview of what's also coming up, and that is fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus is getting a very fascinating push tonight as we try to really figure out how much that step up would be next year. Remember, fifth stimulus would raise up your SSI and SSDI, Social Security and Railroad benefits, veterans benefits, and survivor benefits one time, then add a new benchmark, and that new benchmark would raise your benefits every January. So the question is, how much would they raise the benefits this coming January based upon inflation? Of all the breaking details of why that number could be much higher than we ever thought before. Incredible, great news. So let's go to the big money landing in your bank account and some of the money you got to get. This is a big 30-minute recording, and I got a lot of money for you, a lot of stimulus check news, and a lot of money that's automatic. So get the pen and paper ready because it's starting right now. I didn't want you to miss any of this incredible, great news. First, there is a lot of money available for you for third stimulus. Third stimulus provides $350 billion to cities, counties, and states for you. And it's now landing this week and next week. What is the first item? The first item is rent. And it's about $5,000. $5,000 for 46 months of rent. So go get it. It's in 6 places. All 6 places could have different eligibility. So if you get a no at one stop, go to the next one. Where are they? City Hall, City Housing Authority. County Hall, County Housing Authority. State Hall, State Housing Authority. You're asking for rent assistance because of COVID. And I had another video this morning that said, I got rent. Thank you, Ellie. Congratulations. Remember, all 6 can have different eligibility. That's about $5,000, 46 months of rent. They can also have money for utilities, mortgage assistance, and also homeowners utilities. So go get it. Now let's turn to SNAP. And another viewer on Noontime LA today said, I got SNAP. Congratulations to that viewer as well. So what is SNAP? It is money for food. Where do you get it? Department of Agriculture. Department of Agriculture. How do you reach Department of Agriculture? Call 211. And how much does it pay? A lot. $15,000 to $16,000 for a family of 4 in Hawaii now because of 2 executive orders. One viewer asked me on Noontime, when do the executive orders run out? December. It's January to December. 15% raise up for Trump for 6 months. And then the other 15% is for the next 6 months, which is Biden. So 12 months. Incredible, great news across the board. Look how we're doing. We're 8 minutes into this video. We're flying. And I've already got you $5,000 in rent and about $16,000 in SNAP. I'm flying because I want to get to this breaking news. I'm just so excited for you. But here's 2 tough love moments to give you right before I get to that breaking news. First, it's important to understand that this money for SNAP, this money for food, rent, and homeowners assistance is a lot of money. When third stimulus was passed, I told you that I want you to get this money when it comes available. It's now coming available. There's a series of reasons why this is so important. One, it's an enormous payout. It dwarfs the third stimulus check of $1,400. So I really deeply want you to get this money. Number 2, it's first come, first serve. So just like I said, Purple Hawks, hawk, you got to pounce because there's going to be a stimulus stampede, people rushing to get the money before you. I want you to get this money first come, first serve. Number 3, you're going to see in this letter tonight how legislators are talking about bringing back certain types of stimulus under fourth stimulus. They're not bringing back rent or eviction moratorium or mortgage forbearance, they're going away. So I want you to understand that the concept for Democrats is that they are not going to provide you eviction moratorium or mortgage forbearance after the end of third stimulus because they have already provided you rent to get caught up in your bills. All right, now I think it's time for some delicious money, free money. And some free money starts with two places it's coming, and it's coming today and it's coming tomorrow. Where is it? Let's go over the incredible great news. Number one, your state. Your state is returning thousands of dollars to citizens across the country, and one viewer is getting $5,000. What is this? How are you getting it? And when are you getting it? Let's go over the great news. First, what is it? It is the excess that you were paid in unemployment benefits that you were then asked to return back to your state. The federal government has now stepped in and said that was an error. You should not have been ordered to return that money back. That money is yours. So if your state overpaid you unemployment benefits to no fault of your own due to a computer malfeasance, and you returned it back to them, they have now been ordered to return it back to you. Incredible, great news. So how are you going to get the money? You're going to get the money in the bank account that you have on file for that unemployment benefits. Number three, when are you getting it? Every state is different. So reach out to your respective states. Some states have started, some states have not started. Now let's turn to the second big, exciting, great news of money, and more of it's coming tomorrow. Yes, on Saturday. What is this? This is money back for the federal government, IRS, Treasury. First, let's go over what it is, how much it is. Then we're going to go over where it's going to land, and then when it's going to land. I'm going to make it very easy for you. First, what is it? It is the money you paid taxes to IRS and Treasury for your unemployment benefits in 2020. How is it getting returned? First, let me go over how much it is. Here's an example. If you paid $9,000, if you got $9,000 of unemployment benefits, of which you paid $5,000 in total taxes to IRS, $4,000 of which was taxes on your unemployment benefits, you're getting back a check of $4,000. Great news. Okay, so how are you getting the check? In the mailbox, beige or white envelope, inside a beige check written from Treasury or IRS, subject line refund. The only other possibility into a direct deposit account if that appears on your 2020 return. All right, then when? We have now learned from IRS they have identified three phases. Phase one phase one is being paid this week. Phase two is being paid this week into next week. And then phase three is the third week. Everyone's getting paid in May. And so everyone's going to get paid by the end of May. But those are the three phases. What's phase one? Single filers, no dependents, and also no other refunds on the tax return. Phase two are single filers who have complex returns. And phase three are joint filers, like husband and wife. Incredible great news. And you know how I'm just like percolating. I just can't wait to get to this incredible great news. So here is just another example of the incredible great news across the board on where we are tonight for multiple stimulus checks. We have the House members who, it's important to understand that we are up to House and Senate members. We are up to almost 100 House and Senate members who have written or signed letters to the president saying they are putting forth stimulus checks, multiple stimulus checks in the fourth stimulus package. That is number one. Number two, the subject is front page news. Someone said in one of the, there is a sea of somewhere between trolls and confused people that jump into the comments and say, no one's talking about monthly stimulus checks. Yeah, they are. Just pull up any news report. They're everywhere. They're just everywhere. And if they weren't talking about it then they're talking about it now. And they're going back to this report. But yeah, they're actually talked about everywhere. Third, some people are getting very confused by third stimulus and fourth stimulus. The July check coming to the children is third stimulus. It's not fourth stimulus. That's the third stimulus package from the spring. They're getting their checks in July. That's already law. Yeah, this is also in July. Just because two things are in the same month doesn't mean the same stimulus package. I know, but it just may sound weird, but they're different laws. So let's turn to the exciting news, LALATE. Here's the exciting news. 8 members of the House Ways and Means Committee have written the president a letter saying we're putting multiple stimulus checks into the fourth stimulus package. I just don't know how many more times he has to get that same letter. Now, the House Ways and Means Committee is very significant because why are they very significant? Because they write the legislation for the multiple stimulus checks. The House Ways and Means Committee, if you remember from the third stimulus package, is the part of the House subcommittees that writes stimulus checks. If there was anyone that was going to write stimulus checks, they are delegated that part of the writing because that's what they oversee. And now 7 of the Democrats on the House Ways and Means Committee have written to the president saying, guess what? We're putting in multiple stimulus checks. If you don't put them in, we're putting them in. And this is on top of Jalapal. It's one of those weeks. It's just really heating up. That's on top of this letter from Jalapal. And this letter from Jalapal is to Leader Schumer and Nancy Pelosi, where this prior letter I held up was to the president himself, and says, call the vote. Call the vote. What are we waiting around for? Why is Jalapal's letter significant? Because it's signed by dozens of House members. And those same dozens of House members are part of the nearly 90 to 100 House and Senate members who have either written a bill or written a letter saying they're putting in monthly stimulus checks, reoccurring monthly stimulus checks of the fourth stimulus package. I don't know how obvious this needs to be at this point. It's literally now letter after letter after letter. And so this is turning out to be a very nice week, isn't it? So there you go. Not a nice week for Bitcoin, but a nice week for everything else. And if that wasn't clear enough, then we actually have legislators who don't always come out and give you a briefing on what they're doing, actually giving you a briefing on what they're doing. So we have representatives and senators, senators who have the vote-a-rama to add the monthly stimulus checks in there, coming out and saying, they're not waiting around. It's time to just do this. So what's the issue? The issue is that since the fourth stimulus discussion started, the Republicans came in at $500 billion. The president was at, I think it's $2.3 trillion. And so the president said, give me a counteroffer. And they said, okay, $500 billion. He's like, that's the same number you gave me before. Yeah, so give me another counteroffer, $500 billion. He's like, wait, you just gave me that to me before. So they've done this like 3 or 4 times. So what did the president do late this afternoon? You saw it first on Afternoons LALATE. The president said, okay, I'll come off of a 2.3 to 1.9, and I'll cut out $600 billion because I'm putting it into another bill which we're going to pass anyway. If that ever sounds like yeah, it is one of those moments. And so that signals what the president's doing. That he has told his legislators in the House and Senate that he'll continue to have lunches with Republicans all the way up to Memorial Day. As one viewer said, that's September. No, that's Labor Day. All the way up to Memorial Day. And at which point he has vowed he will no longer have those lunches about forced stimulus with the Republicans after that date. One viewer, though, said, I think he will continue because he's very hungry. I couldn't contain myself with the viewers. He's just having the lunches because he's hungry. We're hungry for stimulus checks. So let's go over what Kristen Gillibrand, Democrat out of New York, said. Should the Democrats wait any longer for the Republicans, or should they just call the vote now on the reconciliation? Absolutely not, she says, because we may lose our coalition for human infrastructure. I do not think the White House should relegate recovery to the judgment of Mitch McConnell because you do not function in good faith. Then came Ruben Gallego, Democrat out of Arizona. They're not being even players, Republicans. And Democrats should just move on without them. I mean, these are the people who signed the letter for the multiple stimulus checks. They're just repeating their vocalization, just, saying, we're just tired, get it done. And then Representative Mark Pocan, a Democrat out of Wisconsin, says, at what point do Republicans seriously come back to the table? If Republicans don't come back to the table, it doesn't mean Democrats don't serve the meal. And so what he's saying is, they've been at $500 billion for 3 months. There's no deal. And then finally, Senator Majority Whip Dick Durbin says Democrats ought to have a timely negotiation with Republicans, but prepare to go to reconciliation, which we're doing. And then finally, Ro Khanna, the representative out of California, says, I think it's time to just move forward with reconciliation. The news reports covering the counteroffer from the president today, which is really not a counteroffer. It's like, I'm at the same number of the president, just like you're at the same number of Republicans. I'm just moving some of the dollars, some of the items into somewhere else. The coverage of the situation is that there will be no deal, and it's going to reconciliation. The president is just sort of pandering to the optics of he made his best effort and they wouldn't meet him anyway. So now he's doing reconciliation. And I got to be frank about it. My opinion is he's done a very good job of making it look like he's tried to meet them halfway, and they have not moved a dollar. And he hasn't moved a dollar either. So there you go. What's important to understand is a series of things I saw in some of the comments on Noontime LA, which I'll certainly in the live chat with you. I want to respond to some of the comments. First, one viewer said, so they can do the vote on June 4th. No, when I said, when when Jalapal says, let's get it done, let's start voting, she didn't mean exactly a month earlier. So some people just sort of took one date and moved a date earlier. Then, of course, there were some viewers that said, well, the vote on July 4th, that's 4th of July. No, that's not what I said. Nancy Pelosi said the vote before July 4th. What's important to understand about this July 4th date is that legislators go on vacation, and they are focus on themselves, I guess is the best way to say it. They're focused on themselves and their vacation, so they rather get this done in late June. Yeah, I know we rather get an extra month of stimulus checks out of these people and get it out in June, whether it's, June 20th or June 15th or June 26th, so long as we get another month of stimulus checks out of them, that would be wonderful. But I think they want to get it done in June as well because they don't want to push it up on their wonderful vacation to their mansion summer homes. So I really do think that is really one of the big issues at hand. Finally, what's important to understand is that the president doesn't write the bills. Legislators write the bills. The House Ways and Means Committee is the one that writes the legislation. And the legislation, which I haven't gone over too much in a while on this channel, can be done two ways. The House members can put the multiple stimulus checks in at the House level, or the senators can put it in during the vote-a-rama, the final 2 days when the bill is in the Senate. They do work in caucus with one another, House and Senate, because they're colleagues. They are in the same political party. So they don't work in a vacuum and then surprise the other house. That's not how they do it. So incredible great news across the board. And wow, also incredible great news is the volunteers who have stepped forward to help you get rent, utilities, food, and internet, and more. They are available, and they're on the community page. How do you find the community page? It's in the description of this video. Open the description of this video. It's at news.lalate.com/community. In the description of this video, you'll see an emoji of a house, and then the community page, and then a link to a web page with a picture of some cats on it. Reach out to the volunteers. They can help you get rent and utilities. I got more exciting news about forced stimulus. Yeah, it's just overwhelming, the news today. And more exciting news about fifth stimulus coming up in the second half of this recording. Stay with me. I'll be back in 60 seconds. If you want money right now, not 5 days from now, and not 5 weeks from now, then reach out to the community page. The volunteers can help you find that money for rent and utilities. That's at news.lalate.com/community. The community page features a series of volunteers who are viewers like you. They can help you find rent, utilities, SNAP, food benefits, mortgage assistance, and help you with eviction moratorium questions as well. Their Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram individuals reach out to them and indicate the city and state you're from, and they'll get back to you shortly. That's a community page. Volunteers working for you, viewers helping one another. Stay with LA for more. Join LALATE Daily for the excitement of the new LALATE live daily. The excitement starts on mornings LALATE at 9 a.m. Home LALATE returns at 11 a.m. daily. And then afternoons LALATE at 1 p.m. Join us daily as the excitement continues live from Santa Monica on LALATE. And the excitement continues right now on Evenings LALATE as that fourth stimulus check, that monthly stimulus check, heats up with incredible breaking news across the land. I'll go over more about that breaking news and also go over fifth stimulus in this recording. How are you? What's the weather where you are tonight? Drop in the comments where you're watching and how the weather is. I hope you're having a beautiful evening. I'm so excited for you to tune in. This is LA, the only 24-hour a day, 7 days a week financial news channel. I'll be live tomorrow morning, but tonight I'm taped. Tonight after this is Evenings Crypto, going into our 9-hour show overnight, and that's been a big hit, both shows. So don't miss them. Coming up at 7 o'clock and then shortly right after that show. Incredible, great night. So make sure you subscribe. 400,000 subscribers, a YouTube record for a reason. Next stop, 1 million. Also like this video and consider becoming a member. Purple Hawk, Purple Power, Calcino VIP. Let's go right into fifth stimulus. Fifth stimulus heated up all week long as we tried to really figure out where the inflation rate will land. It's very critical in understanding that. What is fifth stimulus? It is the latest stimulus package from the Democrats that'll be this fall in September, a two-bill, two-step, two-month process that increases your benefits, then removes the asset limit, adds an inflationary benchmark, that's the key factor in tonight's coverage, and then removes the income exclusion, removes the marriage penalty. All right, let's go over why we're still trying to figure out, and we won't have an answer tonight, we won't have an answer till December, of how much that step up will be next year. There's two step ups under the fifth stimulus, and let me make sure this is clear to you. So fifth stimulus will raise up your benefits one time for purposes of the fifth stimulus package. And whose benefits are these? Yours. If you're on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, railroad benefits, veterans benefits, survivor benefits, and more, your benefits will be raised up one time. Okay, you got that. So then what happens in January? Well, before January, the month before, you get a letter from your benefits organization, like Social Security, says, hi, your benefits next year will step up to this amount. What is the step up based upon? It's based upon a benchmark, and that benchmark is inflation. So here's what's very fascinating is that inflation is going up. We all know that. Price of goods is going up. And it's great that they're tying to inflation. A week ago today, Jeremy Siegel, the professor at Wharton School of Business, said the inflationary rate in December would be 20%. That may be on the high end. 2 days ago, the head of the Federal Reserve at Atlanta said, I'm not going to tell you the inflationary rate because he doesn't want to get fired. But I'll tell you the growth rate is currently at 4%. In December will be 10%. That sounds like 5, 6, 7% inflation. Then yesterday and today, two leading economists said, we think the inflationary rate could be much higher than it is now, and certainly higher than what the Federal Reserve is anticipating. So what does that mean so far where we are tonight? It looks like the inflation rate will not be 20%, but may certainly not be 3%, maybe much higher, somewhere in the 4 to 7%. And by all accounts, it's starting to sound like 5%. Starting to sound like 5%. This is incredible great news for you, because this is how it would work. First, it would raise up your benefits under fifth stimulus, and then you would get raised up again an additional 5%. Remember, step up only steps you up, it never steps you down. So if next year it's 0%, you're not going to step down. Incredible great news. So what else is under fifth stimulus? They're going to remove the asset cap, dating back to a 1980s law, so you'll be able to stay on benefits and keep more than $3,000 in the bank. Useful when you're getting those stimulus checks. Then they're going to remove the income cap. So if you want to go work, you can work $1,000, $2,000 a month and stay on benefits. And finally, they're going to remove the marriage penalty. Awful, awful thing that marriage penalty is. You can't get married or you lose benefits, or you are married and you lost your benefits. They're going to get rid of marriage penalty. So you can finally marry your longtime love interest and find that happiness and not lose benefits. It's incredible great news. So when would fifth stimulus heat up? It would start in September, two-bill, two-step process, and it would finish out the door in about October. You'd likely see your benefits impacted in November, and then that step up, that new benchmark and its impact on your benefits would be for next year. Incredible great news. So let's go back to fourth stimulus and understand why these letters this week are so important. If you pull up any major news outlet, they are covering these monthly stimulus check stories across the board. But one viewer said, why is, TV news not covering it? Because TV news never covered stimulus. They just never did. I mean, they didn't cover first or second. They peripherally cover it. It's also too complicated for them. That's not smart enough to cover. But no, they don't cover it. I mean, they're not going to cover, rent assistance and things like that. It's just not sexy enough for their type of broadcast. But what print media and online media for the major newspapers are covering these articles. And when I got this letter to Biden from the House Ways and Means Committee, the article, I think it was Newsweek, they went back and they referenced all the prior times that Democrats have said they're putting stimulus checks in there. So every time that someone steps forward and says, we're putting it in there, it reminds people that there's a lot of legislators that say they're putting them in there. And remember, they write the bills, not the president. So incredible great news across the board. The one thing that I may not have gauged correctly is that at least this letter which is signed by 7 people, says they want to try to extend some unemployment benefits. So I had not seen any Democrats come out in favor of extending either FPUC, PUA, or PEUC after it expires on the 3rd stimulus, with the exception of Ron Wyden, who wants to make PUA lifetime under a new name, not call it PUA. But this letter here is suggesting they want to extend certain types of unemployment benefits. It's a little bit vague. So if you want to see unemployment benefits extended, that's great news. Now remember, FPUC is a voluntary program that states have to choose to participate in. You can't force the states to participate in. And that letter was expected from the White House late today from the Department of Labor that says whether states can be forced to take FPUC. It was expected the Department of Labor says they cannot be forced. States cannot be forced because it's a voluntary provision. But PEUC and PUA are not tied to states. Let me explain this difference, which I've never done before until this afternoon in Afternoons LA. PEUC is where the federal government gives you extra weeks of unemployment benefits. And PUA is where the federal government steps in and says, we will write the check for those people that are PUA people. It is different than FPUC. So there may be the opportunity legally to bring back PUA and PEUC, but not to bring FPUC. Let's see how that plays out in the week to come. It may not be dead. But what's important to understand is that the unemployment assistance is not the same situation as stimulus checks. Stimulus checks have this incredible monthly support now from House and senators, and the push continues to heat up. And could the vote come sooner? We will see. This is getting very exciting, and I will have more about this tomorrow morning on Early Mornings LA. So make sure you subscribe. I don't want you to miss a single video across the board. Like this video, 2,000-3,000 likes, and consider becoming a member. I'm going to see you next on Evenings Crypto. It is a fun show, and people are making a lot of money and getting very well educated. It's easy. It's easy. I want to see you in that show, so tune in. And then we go into our late night show, which is a lot of fun. You can chat with all your friends 9 hours, which I'm sure you're going to do. Stay informed, stay focused, have a beautiful evening. Always stay positive, always stay motivated, and always stay with the source that gives you the correct information. LALATE.